Fast News.
This is Yoga Lung.
And this is Taria Mira.
This month we've got some stunning stories.
First we head to Hanaeus, who recently interviewed Summer Barrett Prince following her entry in the Jack Petchey Speak Out Challenge, where she was awarded 3rd place.
Hi, I'm Hanaeus.
And I'm Savannah.
And welcome back to the Passmores News channel.
This week we're here with someone to interview her on her Jack Petchey Speak Out Challenge.
Hi everyone, we're here with Summer and we're just going to be asking her a few questions.
How did you come up with the theme of your speech?
Well, when we were told to talk about something we were passionate about, I wanted to, knowing that I had a big platform to kind of present it on, I wanted to talk about something that I struggle with every day and a lot of young black girls and young black boys deal with every day, and that's dealing with the differences that we have to go through because of the colour of our skin. And I wanted to bring awareness to that, you know, through a speech, and so people can understand how different it is for us.
How did you get involved with the Speak Out Challenge?
So the year 10s, we all had like a workshop and Jack Petchey came in and we were given the opportunity to be able to talk in front of like a big crowd of people in confidence. So there was about 30-40 of us in one room and we were all sitting in a circle and we'd get told to stand up, say something about ourselves and say, I think it was like a small speech about just something you're passionate about, and that was when I decided, you know, I'm gonna kind of use this opportunity to talk about something that's very important.
How did you feel performing in the final?
Nervous, but once you kind of get up there, it kind of just goes away. But I was also excited because I wanted to be able to speak up for young black people who didn't have the opportunity that I did and don't kind of have the voice to speak up. I wanted them to feel heard because this is a universal experience. Every black person would have gone through at least one moment in their life where they were treated different just because of the way they look. And I was happy because I wanted, even if I didn't win, I wanted to be able to get my point across in a way that wasn't offensive and it didn't offend people. It was more like an insight on how I actually get treated and how every black person gets treated just because of how different we look. And it was amazing. I felt proud of myself being able to go up there and successfully kind of relate in a term where everyone kind of remembered it.
What was the most standout moment for you?
I would say, okay, there's two. I'd say, and by the way, you can't touch my hair. Reason being because every black person on the literal earth has been through someone wanting to touch their hair because they're fascinated by it. It's not, obviously, there's nothing wrong with that, but we are looked at different anyway, and it just makes us feel excluded. It makes me feel excluded. I don't want people coming up to me touching my hair because it looks like a cloud or it looks different to theirs, and we're so conditioned to put up with stuff like that. But we should be treated equally anyway. It shouldn't even be something that's kind of like out of the norm. And I wanted to say something that everyone was going to resonate with it. Whether you were tall, short, black, white, mixed, I know that everyone would have either said it or been through it, and I wanted that to be kind of like a remembering point. And the colour of my skin is something I have to pay the price of being, something you pay the price of wanting. I meant as in a sense where I have to physically pay the price in like racism, getting treated differently, being watched more in shops, whatever, and people that aren't of colour are more like tanning and stuff like that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with tanning, but in a sense that people put us down because we're black and then do the things that we do. And I wanted to bring to light the fact that we are no different to any other person. We're all humans, you know, we're all people. And I wanted to bring awareness to how like bad it actually is, because I know people kind of offlook racism as it's like it's gone now, it's not that big of a deal, but it's in everyday life. And I just wanted to kind of let people know that it's still happening and I still get treated differently in a sense, and I wanted people to understand that.
Thank you so much, Summer. That was truly amazing.
The colour of my skin. The colour of my skin. Why should I even have to stand up here and talk about something like the colour of my skin? Why aren't you up here justifying your blue eyes or your blonde hair? The colour of my skin is something I have to pay the price for being and something you pay the price for simply wanting. We're not the same. You can go into a store, pick up a few things, have small talk with the manager and leave. I have to go in, flash the manager a great big smile so he knows I'm not a threat. I hold the money in my hand so he knows I'm not going to steal. And you can never forget the one rule. Don't stay in the back house for too long because there's no cameras. People see me as a thug or a threat, but I'm nothing of the sort. I'm a student, just like you. The colour of my skin should make me no more of a threat than the person sitting next to you. I remember seeing a young black girl posting me for her graduation picture, anything is possible with some Caucasian over the phone, and then it hit me. We are still fighting the same battles our ancestors fought. Even though it is 2022, and I can sit where I want on the bus, whether that's back, front or middle, and my parents can get a fair rate of pay, we are still silenced in fear of being seen as that angry black people. How many of you know that Lolly Johnson, a black man from Alabama, created the classic Super Soaker and Nerf gun in 1989, only to be paying his royalties in 2013? What kind of equality is that? Is it my fault that my hair grows up and yours grows down? Why should I have to sit in the back of the class because something that comes natural to me is a problem to you? Is it my fault that people mix up my name with another girl of colour just because we're of the same race? We don't even look alike. Because after all, we all have differences and we're all unique, like your freckles that only come right in the summer, or the dimples people see when you smile. The beauty of humanity should be celebrated, not degraded. I remember being in school and we had hairdressers to come in and educate us about our hair, but my mum had to call and ask if they had a doll that looked like and represented me. And they said no. Imagine that. They said no. The colour of my skin, something I will always have, and something that will stick with me for life, but it's something I love and embrace about myself. And by the way, no, you can't touch my hair.
Thank you so much, Summer. That was truly amazing. This was the Passmores channel. I'm Hanae.
I'm Savannah.
And I'm Summer.
Back to the Passmores studio.
Congratulations to Summer on her 3rd place award. Next we head over to Logan as he gives us details on the recent visit from 3 MPs as they spoke about mental health in schools.
Hello, I'm back. This month I'm not interviewing any teachers. I'll be getting back to that sort of funny stuff next month. But at the minute we're just going to be looking at a recent thing that happened with us. And you may have seen it on the ITV News Anglia that Passmores were visited by 3 MPs. We were joined by our local MP, Robert Halfon, Will Quince, the MP for Colchester, and Gillian Keegan, the Secretary of State for Health and Social Care. Myself and several other students got to have a chat with them about mental health and how social media affects mental health in schools. Here are a few of the clips courtesy of ITV News Anglia.
Hello from Becky and me, and welcome to the programme.
First to the pupils at a school in Essex, taking their mental health straight to the top of government as they welcomed 2 ministers into their classrooms.
The visit to Passmores Academy in Harlow comes as Mental Health Awareness Week starts today. It shone a spotlight on how mental health is approached in education.
It's not the only initiative designed to get us talking about our mental health.
Academic success, social media anxiety and 2 years of pandemic disruption. These young people at Passmores Academy in Harlow are typical of students across the country facing mental health challenges. The government has pledged an extra £2.3 billion, but today ministers have been in the classroom seeing what's being done to get to grips with a growing problem.
Well, at the moment, the ministers are getting the chance to question the students on the kind of things which might impact their mental health and also the support they receive here at Passmore, which has already invested heavily in improving the kind of mental health support available.
It's about noticing, so first of all for our staff it's about them having a really easy way to report any little thing they notice. So it could be that a child's suddenly gone quiet, you have other young people as mental health ambassadors, we have a single point of contact, a non-teaching member of staff who's always available.
So we know in schools there have always been issues with rumours and bullying, but has social media made that worse and almost exemplified the issue?
Somebody might comment on stuff over social media like Snapchat, but then in real life they won't go and do it in person because they're afraid of the consequences.
They feel like it gives them the ability to say whatever they want, and that's when people become really harmful.
I had a massive group chat in year 7, it was like every single student in the year, and if a lot of people didn't like one student, they'd just straight away start talking about them.
Someone started spreading rumours about me, saying, I think at one point someone said that I was dead because I wasn't active on it anymore.
What do you think, having heard the comments from the children you spoke with, is going to be the policy going forward for dealing with young people's mental health? And social media was widely mentioned there.
It's in part about building resilience, but it's also about making sure that schools, where they identify need, we've got senior mental health leads, we've got mental health support teams in schools, and then of course CAM services when people are in crisis.
Often families struggle getting access to mental health services, with long waiting lists often quoted by GPs. Today there was a promise that more alternative routes would become available.
You hear quite often about people waiting a long time for access to children's and adolescents' mental health services, but there's a lot more we could be doing before children get to that point to really talk about mental health in school and support people with lower level anxiety or some of their mental health concerns.
Schools admit the pressures facing young people are unlikely to ease in a rapidly changing world. They welcome more money for mental health services, but say ultimately only a shift in the way we see those who are struggling will ensure they get the support they need. Russell Hookey, ITV News, Harlow.
And finally, we head to Maria, who will be telling us about the Mental Health Awareness Week.
Hi, I'm Maria Fira and welcome back to the latest edition of Past News. Today I'm going to be talking about Mental Health Awareness Month. Let's see what the mental health ambassadors are up to. This is the Student Wellbeing Postbox, where students are able to post their feelings anonymously. Another thing that the mental health ambassadors have been doing are Mindful Mondays. These are basically just a chance for you to review and reflect on your mental health at the beginning of each week. Although this is a past thing, the Year 10 mental health ambassadors have taught Year 7 their PEP lessons, which is basically a chance for the Year 7s to learn about mental health and how they can help themselves or help other people. Excitingly, the Year 9s, the current Year 9s, are going to be trained some point June or July so that the generation of mental health ambassadors can continue. Now let's talk to Miss Hassler. Your role with the mental health ambassadors a bit more, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So my role is to essentially organise and orchestrate the projects that the ambassadors are involved in. When the mental health ambassadors were formed, I basically led their training on the peer education programme, which they delivered mental health lessons to Year 7s. So I facilitated that at the beginning of the year. And we also hold regular meetings, which I chair and take minutes for. And essentially just keep the group well organised and together and focused on the wellbeing of the school body.
What made you bring about the mental health ambassadors?
So it was a bit of a sort of reflecting coming back from COVID and the pandemic, and we know about the impact that's had on mental health, and there was recent research to suggest that a lot of the mental health issues within schools were not being addressed because students found that they didn't have somebody that they could speak to comfortably and felt more comfortable talking to somebody within their own peer group or around the same age. So it was kind of a way for us to bridge the gap between students and staff. So that's why we trained a whole group they were Year 9 at the time, and currently our mental health ambassadors are in Year 10, just to help bridge that gap and give that extra level of support to our student body, where the student body don't feel so intimidated because they can talk to somebody within their own age range.
And finally, what are the next steps for the mental health ambassadors?
So the next steps are, at the end of the year, our mental health ambassador team, as they are currently coming to the end of their role. So we are looking to recruit new mental health ambassadors. So we're looking for Year 9 students, those that are passionate about mental health, those that are very conscientious, those that are very driven, something that will go really well on your CV as well, especially if you want to work with people in the future and it is something that you're really interested in doing. We will be looking to recruit more towards the end of Year 9, so keep your ears and eyes open about things, and then sign up when the information comes out. Exciting.
Thank you.
Cannot wait.
So that was my story for the Past News. I'm Maria Fira and happy Mental Health Awareness Month.
Thank you for watching May's Past News. If you would like to join us and get involved in filming, writing or presenting, come to L104 on a Thursday after school.
From us at Past News, goodbye.
Goodbye.